Okay, so this week we were talking about my favorite Bible passage. Well, that is really a tough decision because I have two that I use and meditate on a lot. One of them is Matthew chapter 7, verse 7 of the King James Version. And it says, "Ask and it shall be given to you, seek and ye shall find, knock and it shall be opened unto you." And also my second favorite one is, well, they're all favorites, but the next one is Jeremiah 29:11 out of the King James Version. "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace, not of evil, to give you an expected end." They both have helped me through some tough times and tough storms, and I have shared them a lot with others, especially those who have went through their own storms. Matthew 7:7 has the answer to questions like, where can I get help? Who do I turn to? And where do I go? Whenever I am down and have almost given up on or in a struggle, Matthew 7:7 has always lifted me up. When I pray to God to help me through the storm, I ask, seek, and knock. I ask in prayer for help, for answers, and for strength. When I am lost in the storm and I need someone to turn to, I seek God first, and everything falls into place. When the door closes or a season is ending, I am knocking, asking God to open up another door, because He closes one and He's the only one who can actually open another. And it shows that in Revelation chapter 3, 7 through 8. And it says, "And the angel of the church in the Philippines write, These things saith He that is holy, He that is true, He that hath the key of David, He that openeth it, and no man shutteth, and shutteth that no man can open. I know thy works, behold, I have set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast little strength, and hast kept my any word, and hast not denied my name." So when God sits there and says He can open and shut doors, it also means your seasons. When we go through storms, we tend not to know what's happening, but God does. And that's what leads me to the next plan, which is Jeremiah 29:11. Jeremiah 29:11 kind of always lets me know that God does have a great plan for us. And we don't know what His plans are, and we know our plans are not set to His plans. But as long as we put Him first and set Him to where He is the leader and we just follow Him, then everything else falls into place. We might not understand what goes on in life. We might not even understand why things happen. But through that verse in that chapter, it says it all. He does know. He knew us from birth. He knew us before we was even born. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is He knows what's in our hearts. He knows what's in our souls. He knows what our needs are. And He also knows what our future holds. So as long as we keep our focus on Him, then we know everything's going to work out just fine. It is tough through struggles, though. I'm not going to sit there and lie and say that, we can get through just by reading Scripture. Scripture helps, but it also helps to meditate on it and to know it by heart. Because, I'll be honest, without Scripture, so many storms I wouldn't even get through. I wouldn't even be here today posting this video. So that's why I thank God so much for what He has done and the scriptures He has given me to meditate on. And this is why I share these scriptures, because of course in Matthew 7:7 we sit there and ask Him for anything. Now it might be a delay, it might be a time before we see it, and it could be a short time. But when we ask Him for something, He will bless us with it. It might not be in the time frame we see it, but He does bless us with it. And of course, as we all know, especially when we go through storms, they can even be dark storms, cloudy storms, what have you. But when we seek Him, everything starts to look a lot brighter. And of course, when doors close, and I've been in situations like that, and I imagine some of y'all have too, He's the only one that can close them, and He's the only one that can open them. So if we ask Him to help us and guide us to the next door, He'll show us. And that's why I say it's best to always meditate on these, because especially these two scriptures, because you don't know what's going to happen in life. You never know what the next day holds. You know that God has made it for us. No matter what it is, we'll get through it. But the best thing is about these two scriptures, I like it covers everything. It covers what we can ask for, where we need to find it, and just anywhere we go, as long as we find Him first, everything will work out just fine. And like I was talking about a little bit about Jeremiah 29:11, His plans are different from our plans. But the greatest thing is, those are His plans. They're not to hurt us. They're not to harm us. It's not to destroy us. It might put us on our knees to pray where He wants us at, but besides that, it's not going to cause any harm to where it's going to devastate us and just destroy us. His thoughts are for us to worship, to get us set up to where we worship Him, to love Him, because He loves us first. He had His Son die on the cross for us, so that way we can have the everlasting life. So, if anybody was to ever ask me what my favorite Bible passage was, my future reference, I would have to say these two, because these two have gotten me through a lot, and I love sharing these whenever you can, and whomever I can. And I love sharing these with you all today. God bless.